So Leffen had an idea that got me thinking. Basically, at around I think 13% or so, you can F tilt to tech chase, and it's basically as good as using grab, and it's easier because F tilt is 2 frames faster than grab. And the way he uses it is he does a walk forward, and he turns around like when there's ambiguous DI. But my issue with that, as you may have known before, is it may not look like much, but I'm walking a lot here. And this isn't like amazing ambiguous DI. It's like more to the right. But if it was a little bit more perfect, I would not have to walk that much at all. And so that sort of like changes how far you have to walk. So if I walked as if in the first case, then I'd probably walk like a significant amount, and that makes it so the tech roll further is a lot harder. I'm not entirely sure how doable this is. It might be, especially because F tilt is faster, but it just feels inconsistent when like sometimes they will just do a DI that I will end up unfortunately walking into. Like I'll just do that, you know, and then that would really suck. So I have practiced this a good amount, and it just feels inconsistent. So the way we deal with ambiguous DI is we obviously we wave dash, and the benefit to F tilting, like I said, is that it's 2 frames faster than grab, but that only is the case with certain implications, right? So if I have to, there is a drawback where like after 24% after the down throw, which is 13% or something before it, I forget. There is a little drawback, and that is if they tech in place and you F tilt it, they can ace DI down and they'll hug the floor, although they will get knocked down, which means you have to probably like crouch tech chase afterwards, which is like fine. It's perfectly good. If you react fast enough against missed tech, they actually can't ace DI down, but it's not the end of the world if you're a little late and they do. But anyway, so the fact that F tilt is 2 frames faster only really helps you if you are already holding forward by the end of it. You know what I mean? And the problem with that is if I hold forward during the wave dash lag so that I could just push A on reaction, then if they tech roll away, oops, okay. If they tech roll away, that means I have to release my forward holding, and by the time I release it and then dash again, I can't really get it. It's like not really feasible. So why don't we just not hold forward during it? And that is possible, but at that point, it's like, why don't you just grab? Because I'm pretty sure holding forward and then pushing A, without, like, from a neutral stance, even though the move itself is 2 frames faster than grab is, like, comparably as good, if not better, and the reward is better. So there's no point in that case to doing F tilt. So why don't we try the bottom right notch? And the problem with that is, so if we hold crouch basically, so we'd go like that, and then we react. Okay, my notches are not calibrated right, but we just hold the bottom right notch and then push A on reaction. But after a wave dash, you'll notice that she has to squat down again, and it's during those squatting frames where I cannot dash forward out of crouch until after 6 frames of them. So if I wave dash and then I hold that value, it's borderline impossible to wave dash, hold that notch, which is the bottom right notch, by the way, and then see that it's tech roll, move to down, straight down, because otherwise you can't really dash forward out of crouch, although you still can with a little finickiness, so maybe that's an argument, but I still think either way. And then after 6 frames of crouching, then dash to get the roll. It seems like very, very difficult. Okay, maybe I was just completely wrong. I do not see how you can... Yeah, you can't actually dash forward out of crouch, I don't think, while holding the down forward notch. I think I mixed that up for the down back notch. I think I saw a Twitter post about it, yeah. Yeah, so you would have to move to straight down and then forward, and... Like, obviously I can, like, crouch and then, like, barely... If I wave dash and then crouch, I can barely dash out and get the boost grab. But it's the fact that I'm holding down forward, and then I have to go straight down, and then I have to dash out of crouch, and I have to deal with the 6 frames of squatting down. I'm actually holding straight down right now, and I still can't even get it once if you watch here. And that's just how hard it is. You saw the shield come up there, so that was not real. So anyway, these are my problems with that method, but I came up with a way to use F-tilt that I think is very good, and it was inspired by this, and hopefully, okay. So in a previous video, I've talked about how, like, if you just don't do anything, when you tech chase, 1, 2, 3, let's make it neutral, tech in place. If you don't do anything after you down throw, it's really hard to tell it's side thrown until the exact frame that you would react to tech in place, which is like frame 5 or 4. So you can kind of tell at frame 4, and then frame 5, it's like, okay, they're behind. But if you do the buffer turnaround method, you'll notice by like frame 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's pretty clear cut in that case. So what I notice here is that we can just buffer turn around during the down throw, and you can release if they do something like full DIY, so you don't turn around at all, so that's not a problem. And you just react with forward tilt. And what's cool is it is pretty hard to do what I'm about to mention, but it is doable. And then if and only if it is on the other side, then you would react, turn around, and then grab again. And because you're like turning around, yeah, so because you're like turning around twice, it's like, actually, I don't know how true this is, but like, it is like, it doesn't feel like super hard to input turnaround F-tilt during like another turnaround, because you just kind of like they just kind of buffer each other. But then again, I think you're spacing it out enough so that is not the case. But anyway, it feels quite easy. You just kind of turn around and F-tilt, because yeah, I think at worst it's about the same as grab. Actually, I think it feels a lot better because when you turn around and grab, like, well, you have to input this tilt turn and then push Z at any point during that turnaround anyway, and you have to do that anyway when you use the F tilt. And so you just don't have to do anything. You just push the green button instead of the purple button. And as long as because you're just holding that turnaround value and you just keep holding it. And so it just feels 2 frames faster, so it feels a lot more reliable than the turnaround method used to be. But we have some issues, and sorry, this video is not concise at all, but these issues are, okay, so if they end up like this, actually, even if, this is the crazy part, even if I do the double turnaround, so I'm facing the right way, unless assuming that I react like a human would to mistech, it will just never work. It will Roy zone. And that, because Sheik's F tilt is like, has this little blind spot in the front of it. And obviously I could hit it if I just predict that the mistype's gonna happen during the initial bounce, but even if I react anything close to humanly possible, it will just miss. And so that's kind of a problem. Okay, that's weird. I promise that does not work consistently. Yeah. Although that does give me an idea. Like, maybe you could, like, down throw and then instantly F-tilt. And then if it's not that... I don't think you have time, though, because if you F-tilt, you probably can't get taken place again. Yeah, I don't think he would be able to do that. I messed with stuff like this with jab. But anyway. But the solution is to... I've already shown this in another video, is to jab. You could probably crouch also, like you turn around and you go like that, but it just feels like by the time I react, it's like a little, it's cutting it very close. So I recommend, especially because Fox has such a hard time just doing that, because like you could find success with it, but my hypothesis is that if you turn around early to crouch, then you'll get it successfully. But then if you have that rhythm for turning around early for to crouch so that you face the right way, then if they start teching in place, you'll get a bad habit of turning around too early, and so they'll end up like you'll double turn around when you shouldn't have, and then they'll take a place, and then you'll get shined. So that's my theory on that, and that's what I've discovered in my experience. So yeah, that's why I think this is important. You just release if you see any mistech, and I think this is important because a lot of the times during mistech, even if it's in front, I just like won't know what side they're on for a while, and so you will only do a second tilt turn if and only if it is tech in place and they end up behind you after you turn around. And so if they tech roll, you actually don't turn around and then go. You actually just immediately go, and it's very important to like have that rhythm, I would say. It is kind of finicky though. Like it's a little hard to like release your. Right now I'm holding forward to just react with F tilt to tech in place. So I just keep holding forward, and you have to release it before you push A, and so that's like a little hard. But I think it's doable with enough practice. And yeah, so I think this is pretty good. I've rambled long enough. I didn't get to the point very well in this video, but that's okay. Bye-bye.